Allow me to share. I want to check. Prabhu, I want to share only the I didn't want to share the entire share this. But will it show my notes? The presentation notes.
No, but once you go to presentation mode, it will.
Where it is?
You open to.
I'm good. Hare Krishna. No, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Mayi Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev Lakshmi Narasimha Jaya Ananta Dev Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 जय ओम परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र Divine Grace AC Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Savior of the whole universe Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki Nitai Gaur Premanande Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirage Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Hare Krishna, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto, text number 13, chapter number 13 and text number 13. Let me share the database. Prostabatyam Purnamasyam हेमसिंहा समान्वितम् तदा धियो भागवतम् स याति परमां गतिम् प्रोस्तापद्यं पौर्णमास्या हेमसिंहा समान्वितम् तदा धियो भागवतम् स याति परमां गतिम् प्रोस्तापत्यं पौर्णमास्याम् हेमसिंहा समान्वितम् तदा धियो भागवतम् स याति परमां गतिम् प्रस्तापत्यां पौर्णमास्याम् हेमसिंहा समान्वितम् तदा धियो भागवतम् स याति परमां गतिम् प्रोस्तापद्यां पौर्णमास्याम् हेमसिंहा समान्वितम् तदा धियो भागवतम् स याति परमां गतिम् प्रौसम हेमसिंहा समान्वितम् तथा धियो भागवतम् स याति परमां गतिम् कौसपत्यां पूर्णमास्याम् हेमसिंहा समान्वितम् धियो भागवतम् स याति वैष्णवीस् प्रौष्ठपत्यां पौर्णमास्याम् हेमसिंहा समन्वितम् तथा धियो भागवतम् स याति परमां गतिम् प्रौष्ठपत्यां in the month of Bhadra Purnamasyam in on the full moon day Hemasimha upon a golden throne Samanvitam seated Tatadi gives us a gift Ya who Bhagavatam Srimad Bhagavatam Sa he Yati goes Paramam to the supreme Gatim destination. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. If on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, one places Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne and gives it as a gift, he will attain the supreme transcendental destination. Purport. One should place Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne because it is the king of all literature. On the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, the sun, which is compared to this king of literature, is present in the constellation Leo and looks as if raised upon a royal throne. According to the astrology, the sun is said to be exalted in the sign of Leo. Thus, one may unreservedly worship Srimad Bhagavatam, the supreme divine scripture. Om Ajnanathmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamagyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandegam Shri Guru Shri Yuda Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadudam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Cha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshadarine महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रतायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतसे नमः ये कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानो सुदे देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभयेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद द्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंगायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनदारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं हरिः ओं तत्सत् Hare Krishna. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam. Nitya Bhagavatam Sevaya. Thanks for the opportunity today to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. Since yesterday was Bhadra Purnima, I've been asked to speak the glories of Bhagavatam. So please bless me sufficiently so that I can glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'm reading from this chapter 12th canto, 13th text, chapter 13 text. This entire chapter glorifies Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is the specific sloka for Bhadra Purnima. Why do celebrate Bhadra Purnima, right? So after Radhastami, the Bhagavatam starts. Sutta Goswami starts to Parshit Maharaj. Then he ends in Bhadra Purnima. So that's the significance of celebrating this Bhadra Purnima. And also, Srila Prabhupada and Acharyas explain this on this full moon day, auspicious day, one who gives Bhagavatam on the golden throne and gives it as a gift, he will attain the supreme transcendental destination. So it's not only Bhadra Purnima, one gives Srimad Bhagavatam, that they will go back to Godhead. Somewhere else, Prabhupada also mentioned, any Purnima, if somebody gives Bhagavatam, then same benefit get. That can be extended. It's not only Purnima, every day we can distribute Srimad Bhagavatam, and this will have same potency. Of course, on special days, it has some merciful, more mercy, like Ekadasi when we chant. But this Bhagavatam can be distributed anytime. And also Prabhupada talks about why this is a gift, why it should be given on the golden throne. There is any significance why the Shastras mentions about throne. If you see, the most powerful person is the king or the president of the country. So currently, so it represents the best thing what we can offer to Bhagavatam is that throne, and it should be given in the golden throne. Somebody might think, oh Prabhu, buying 1 gram gold is so expensive. How can we create a golden throne and distribute? It's Krishna sees your Bhavagragi Janardana. He says, when Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam, how affectionately you are giving, how affectionately you are doing it. He sees that, but not exactly whether you gave a very expensive fruit or a normal fruit. So similarly, Bhagavatam, you can mentally think that you can give it in the golden throne for the benefit of the people, right? So, Prabhu is still sharing. Okay. Huh? But here it will share. Okay. So let me share my presentation. Today I want to present something on the Srimad Bhagavatam. So when we talk about Bhagavatam, it's both person Bhagavata, like Srila Prabhupada, as well as devotee Bhagavata. So both are glorious. One follows either book Bhagavata or we can follow both. Srila Prabhupada, it's the same effect because Srila Prabhupada is exactly was behaving like what is written in Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is very auspicious and appropriate that we can glorify Srimad Bhagavatam today. Just give me a second. So one time Prabhupada was asked somebody in India before going to America, Prabhupada, are you going to America? Then Prabhupada said, no, no, no. Srimad Bhagavatam is going. I'm just accompanying. That is the mood. Prabhupada always in the mood of serving Srimad Bhagavatam. And one devotee, sometime, I think it's, I don't know where, maybe abroad, one devotee was reading Bhagavatam like any other comic we read, like any other super novel we read, you know, sleeping or just lying down and reading it. Then Prabhupada noticed, he said, you can't read Bhagavatam like this. It should be given proper respect. You make a cover, nice cover, and you can read it. So this devotee thought, okay, let me make cover for Srila Prabhupada, the Bhagavatam copy. Next day, Bhagavatam was going on, Prabhupada was sitting in Vyasasan. So the devotee went and presented, Prabhupada, I made a nice cover for the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is for you. And Prabhupada said, I know how to manage Bhagavatam. It is for you. You take it and keep it nicely. So he gave so much importance to Bhagavatam. Like one time, he was so desperate that every Bhagavatam should be printed in all languages. So so what happens is this time it is Gaur Govinda Maharaj in Oriya. He wants to translate. Then Prabhupada was asking, why are you making so much time, so much delay in translating Bhagavatam in Oriya? Maharaj said, Prabhupada, I am the only person. Practically, I'm maintaining the deities, I'm maintaining the temple, I am cooking, preaching, chanting, everything, Prabhupada, I don't have time. He said, no, no, this is priority. Bhagavatam is priority. Then who will take care of the other stuff? Then Prabhupada said, don't worry, I will take care of it. Then he was looking around. There is a new bhakta from America who came just for a visit, 1 or 2 days. And then Prabhupada looked at him. Don't worry, he will manage everything on behalf of you. Then he said, Prabhupada, no, no, don't worry, I will make him. Then he called the devotee. He said, come here. Yes, Prabhupada, how can I serve you? Yeah. Okay, tomorrow onwards, you're maintaining this temple. Then he said, bewildered, Prabhupada, no, no, I just came here for 2 days. Tomorrow is my flight. No problem, I will cancel your flight. Said, okay. No, Prabhupada, like, here it's too hot. I can't adjust to this weather, Prabhupada. No problem. Your body will adjust to it after 1 or 2 months. He was trying to give various reasoning not to do so. Then he said, Prabhupada, this food, Indian food doesn't work out for me. No, no problem. I'll give a recipe which American food you can eat. No, Prabhupada, I would get a lot of stomach upset, health upset. So I'm a doctor. I will give you a prescription. Don't worry. I know the medicines. Then Prabhupada is suddenly said it, yes, Prabhupada, I will do it. And finally he maintained it. And that's how Gorgoran the Maharaj translated it. So Prabhupada was so desperate, this Bhagavatam should reach to so many people. That's because Acharya knows what is the value of Srimad Bhagavatam can do today. So we'll be discussing about this. There are few book distribution. There's a person called Ananda Mohan. He is in Russia. So we can't imagine what kind of risk they take in their life to distribute Srimad Bhagavatam. So one time he was traveling, then he called his friend, hey, let us go. There is one area I'm going. Actually, that is the topmost gundas or the gangsters where they live. So he wanted to distribute to them there. So this person didn't know. As soon as they went, then everybody surprised those gangsters. Everybody started, gathering and things like that. So the devotee was very cool. Then they asked, who are you? Why are you come here? And he said some name. in Russia. I don't know what name, but this was his Karmi name, he told, and that was the name of his opponent. It's supposed to be his opponent name. Then everybody picked up the gun, and 15 people are readily keeping head on his these guns, and he started glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam, and he started glorifying Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Golden Avatar. He started preaching, but the other devotee was shaking, shivering. At gunpoint, he was started glorifying. Very good. Then he started preaching Chaitanya Charitamrita, and finally sold the teachings of Lord Chaitanya and came. And the devotee also, those days, it is required to book your funeral before if you want to do a special thing in Russia. Then this devotee told other devotees, "Today I may not come back. I have some other priority work. Please arrange for my funeral." And like that he said and went. Nobody could able to understand. So this guy with devotee went. He met with an accident, and when devotee saw there was no scratches in the body, it was so blissful, so bright. He was chanting on his beats, and he just left his body. So, like that, the pure Vaishnavas who distribute this Bhagavatam, they will guarantee to go back to God at the Srila Prabhupada's confirmation. So, people take risk of their life to distribute this holy scripture. So, what we need to do is just take this Srimad Bhagavatam, speak the glories, spread this Bhagavatam. That is very, very important, because Prabhupada said, every gentleman, if you are a gentleman, then everybody house, they should have Srimad Bhagavatam. One day there was a Prabhu name called Sri Bhagavat, not Sri Bhagavat, sorry, Bhagavat Prabhu. And he's a good distributor. He does a lot of seva in the temple. Prabhupada called him, "Do you read my books?" Prabhupada, there are a lot of seva, I read sometimes, but not regularly. Then Prabhupada said, he was disappointed and he said, "You know what? I read Bhagavatam every day." And the author is telling, every day I read, I get new meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. And you know what the secret? I did not write this Bhagavatam. Krishna, early morning, he comes every day instructed. I just wrote down Krishna's words. That's why I am reading every day, and I find new meaning every day when I read Srimad Bhagavatam. So you also should read. So this emphasizes that how the author, Srila Prabhupada himself, was reading this. So this distributing of this holy book, it is on the Raghananda Bhakti level. It is very advanced level. Sometimes seems to be like some book distribution going 1 or 2 hours distributing books and come. If you go to Mayapur, there is a logo on the main entrance. You will see that half of the globe and half of that they would have filled with Raghananda Bhakti. In that, the Srimad Bhagavatam will be placed. So it shows that it is very transcendental activity. Distributing books, Srila Prabhupada books, is not a mundane thing. It is spontaneous devotional service, one you can attain the highest perfection of in the bhakti. So also there are various glories of Srimad Bhagavatam has been written in Padma Purana, around 20-25 of them. I'll quickly give a gist of it, what it is. Then we will see few more slokas of glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam. So anyone reads Srimad Bhagavatam daily, he is donating a cow. It is equivalent to donating a brown cow. I don't know what is specific of brown cow, but you just mentioned. The second aspect is, so the second one is, irrespective of you read or listen Srimad Bhagavatam, they are get the benefit of 1,000 cows donated. So Srimad Bhagavatam can satisfy Krishna. So if you want to satisfy Krishna, we have to read Srimad Bhagavatam daily. So if you keep Srimad Bhagavatam and 18 other Puranas, every day, let's say you're reading entire 18 Puranas, which consist of 4 lakh verses. The entire 18 Puranas has 4 lakh verses, and Bhagavatam alone has 18,000 verses. If somebody recites the entire Puranas, 4 lakh verses, it is equivalent to reading Srimad Bhagavatam. So if one reads Srimad Bhagavatam, that's sufficient. All the Puranas are included. And anybody, the fifth point, anyone reads Srimad Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj will be personally protecting them. They will be protected from the Kali, onslaught of Kali. Sixth one, anyone does the puja, Devas will be worshipped, and the Devatas will come and worship, and all the sins will be destroyed. This is why we need to have Bhagavatam at our house. Seventh one, so you will get the when you read Srimad Bhagavatam, when you say worship, also you can do Dupa, Deepa. Not only that, when we say worship Bhagavatam, it is more reading, understanding Srimad Bhagavatam. They will be free from the fear. And also, this is very interesting one. The Bhatma Purana says, for the Pitrus, we most of the time we give a lot of. They say Pitru dosha is there. We try to do a lot of perform, lot of pindadan. Who reads Srila Prabhupada? Anyone who has a Srimad Bhagavatam in their house, not reading, just having there in the house. Every day, ghee, milk, or water, whatever required for the Pitrus, every day it is going. If you keep Srimad Bhagavatam at the home, it is as good as your Pitrus are taken care every day. And there is no other thing required. And this Bhagavatam can satisfy all the demigods, including Vishnu. Sorry, demigods as well as Vishnu. If somebody keeps half a shloka, leave entire book. Even somebody writes in a paper half shloka, right? That is equivalent to reading thousands of scriptures. And those who have Bhagavatam at home, the Yamaraj will not come. He will keep away. Okay, anybody's house Bhagavatam is there, you are instructed uh, is Yamadudas not to touch them. So also this is a wonderful 12th point. A person who claims to be a Vaishnava but is not having Bhagavatam at his house, right? He is considered below the Milecha, below the dog eater, Chandala. What kind of a Vaishnava is? Those days, like, it's very difficult to put Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhaktivinoda Thakur and other people, they go village to village to find out where is Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, to have a copy. But we have, on click of a button, if you call our temple, we will be able to distribute Bhagavatam. So any person who is not having Bhagavatam at their house, they're not even considered as a Vaishnava. I'm not telling this, all explained in the Padma Purana. So for the place, for the pleasure of the devotees, you should keep Srimad Bhagavatam. Number 4, where Bhagavatam is there, the Devatas and Vishnu personally stays there. And wherever this Bhagavatam study is happening, anybody is hearing, that is the holy places of all the holy places. Dwaraka, Mathura, Kanchi, you name any place, all the holy places and all the holy reverses are here in Srimad Bhagavatam. So on Ekadasi day especially, it is recommended to read Srimad Bhagavatam. Those who are not reading Srimad Bhagavatam on Ekadashi, quote unquote, you will incur a big sin. So like that, there are many things. I can go on reading it. There are many things are there. I'll touch few things. Like you are reading Srimad Bhagavatam is equivalent to doing Ashwamedha Yajna or doing one parikrama. Even one keeps in the altar Srimad Bhagavatam, goes around 3 times, then it is equivalent as going to doing Ashwamedha Yajna, right? So like that, there are many advantages of reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Today we will see few more pastimes of Srila Prabhupada as well as glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So one time, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, let's imagine like everybody house, they will have a book, right? Somebody will have about their engineering, architecture. Somebody will have nice painting. Somebody will have, apart from Srila Prabhupada books, of course, many people have many books, valuable books. One time he said, entire book in the world, it is even destroyed, but Bhagavatam is there, there is no loss. Even one single copy of Bhagavatam is there. The entire other, whatever literature we have in the world, everything destroyed, there is no loss. That is how empathetic Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was talking about. So anybody who reads Srimad Bhagavatam, what is the benefit personally one would get? If you say somebody is chanting, Prabhu, I'm chanting for a long time, I'm not getting a taste. So I'm not able to preach well. I try a lot of effort, but my preaching is not successful. I'm not able to progress in bhakti. The root cause is that we need to attempt Srimad Bhagavatam hearing sincerely. When you start hearing Srimad Bhagavatam sincerely, automatically your sadhana will improve, your preaching will improve, your taste for japa will increase. Everything is tied to this Srimad Bhagavatam. Especially, you have to, in order to understand, in order to serve Bhagavatam, then you have to serve the Vaishnavas. If you serve the Vaishnavas, Krishna is pleased. Then Krishna within the heart reveals Srimad Bhagavatam. Then Srimad Bhagavatam will give the taste for the love of Godhead, as well as love of Godhead, as well as success in the preaching, as well as the taste for the japa. So the bottommost is things serving the Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas pleased, Krishna is pleased, Krishna is pleased, then Bhagavatam will reveal all the full potency. And Prabhupada said, anybody reads Bhagavatam, you will be forced to become pure devotee. There is no other option. Somebody's have Bhagavatam, you must become pure devotee. There is no other option, Prabhupada says. That's a conviction he had. So like that, we can go on and on and on. So today what I want to do is, I want to show you some interesting verse, which I read. Then we can read that, then probably we can understand a little bit more. So this is Sanatana Goswami has written Krishna Leela Stava, only glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam, pure nectar, written by him. So what I will try to do another 40 minutes or so, we will go through this translation. Then we will try to understand, deep understanding, how Sanatana Goswami is glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam in Krishna Leela Stava. Sarva Sastre Piyusha, Sarva Vedika Satpala, Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadaya, Sarva Lokaika Drikprada, Sarva Bhagavata Prana, Srimad Bhagavata Prabho, Kalidvanto Datya Shri Krishna Parivartita, Premananda Padaya, Prema Varsha Akshrayate, Sarvada Sarva Sevayaya, Shri Krishnaya Namostute, Matyeka Bando Matsangen. I think you can repeat this. Matyeka Bando Matsangen. Matkuru Manmanadana, Mannistaraka Madbhagya, Mat Ananda Namostute, Asadu Sadhu Tadya, Ati Nicho Chatakara, Hana Munnacha Kadachin, Mam Premana Hirkantayos Puraha. I'll read this wonderful translation. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O nectar of churned from the oceans of all Vedic scriptures, O most prominent transcendental fruit of all Vedas, O you who are enriched with the jewels of all spiritual philosophical conclusion, O you who grant spiritual vision to all the people of the world, of life breath of Vaishnava devotees. O Lord, you are the sun which has arisen to dispel the darkness of Kali Yuga. You are actually Krishna who has turned among us. So we will see first stanza. We will go stanza by stanza. We will try to cover as much as possible. If not, we will stop based on the time. But I want to go a little deeper into this verses so that we really understand what Srimad Bhagavatam is. So I will just do a presentation. Just give me a second. From how do I share the Zoom? Okay, you are able to see this now. So when Rupa Goswami talks about that Sarva Shastri, entire Shastras, if you summarize, if you churn all the Shastras, then Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence. All the Vedas are there. Satphala, the fruit of the Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam, the fruit of all the Nigamas Kalpa, the Vedas, that is Srimad Bhagavatam. Sarva Siddhanta, there are so many philosophers are there. There are so many philosophies. Entire philosophy, you want to put Samman Bonam, the Ratna of the jewel crest of all the philosophies, Srimad Bhagavatam. Sarva Lokaika Drikprada. It will show the uh, uh, vision of how one should follow. So now there are so many things Sanatana Goswami talking about. Veda is talks about, Isar wrote Shastras. So let us little dwell into what is this actually this all represents, right? So the basically the Vedas is the origin of everything. Like anything in the world, whatever we see, let it be material, let it be cosmology, let it be a architecture, let it be a medicine, Ayurveda, you branch of anything, engineering, construction, any you name any branch, it's all there in the Vedas. Vedas is the origin, either it for material or spiritual knowledge. Knowledge is only comes from Vedas. It's called Aupurusheya, means it is not written by any human being. It's Sakshat Krishna who revealed these Vedas to Brahmaji. Brahmaji then imparted to his Narada to Vyasa, then Vyasa compiled all these things. Right? It was one Vedas before. There was no other literature that was existing originally. And this Vedas, anybody wants to establish this Vedas, anybody wants to understand, it's called Prasthanatraya, means the process to understand the knowledge. It can be done in three ways. One is that the Shruti, which is nothing but the Vedas. Then this is Smriti. Based on the Shruti, what one hears, the Vedas, somebody is written a lot of other things, Puranas, Siddhikadas, and Vedangas. There are a lot of stuff it has been written in Smriti. The third thing is Nyaya. Now, what is knowledge? It is defined in Shruti. How this can be obtained, Smriti will tell the process by which you can get this knowledge. The Nyaya part of it will tell why I should get this knowledge, why I should do this. That's the basic three angle. If you want to get any knowledge, you want to look at any knowledge, then you have to get it from Shruti, Smriti, and Nyaya. Now the Vedas, the part of the Shruti. So initially there was only one Veda. Every time Brahma gets up early morning, he would get this knowledge of the Vedas. Sometime he will forget it. So Krishna will come in the different form. Sometime he plays the flute and Brahma gets this knowledge. Sometime he comes as a Hamsa. He imparts the knowledge. Sometimes steals the Vedas. Then he comes as that. Some days he just transfers. He meditates. Bhagavatam, like in the current Bhagavatam, you see Brahma meditated for many years. So this Veda, which Lord has spoken, has transferred to Brahma. Now this Vedas was only one. Then Vyasadeva broken into four. Rik, Yajur, Sam, Atharvana Veda. Further, what is that Vedas also about, talks about is the Veda talks about, there are four kinds of people, right? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. The ashramas, Grahastha ashrama, then Brahmacharya ashrama, Grahastha ashrama, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. Those who people, most of the people live in the forest, olden days. The Brahmachari, anyhow, they go to the Gurukul, they live in the forest. The Vanaprastha, invariably they are in the forest because they are practicing it. Any of the renounced order of life, Guru, most of them, they teach to the kids and they are all there in the forest. Who lives in the city? Only Grahastha lives in the city. So the Vedas also talks about Aranyaka, means how one should conduct their life in forest, how one should brahmacharya should be done, how one should eat in the forest, how one should live. So this is what talks about Aranyaka. And the Brahmana is nothing but it is a city life, how one should live in the city, how one should construct a house. This Vedas goes to certain extent that it will also tell you how to commit suicide also. There is any knowledge you talk about, it is there in the Vedas. Don't think that is something newly created rocket today we are sending. Those knowledges are not there. Everything is there in the Vedas. It is just that some people wanted it, it's revealed. Otherwise, it's not revealed. So every knowledge is already there. And so that's how the how to live part of it is there in the Vedas. Apart from that, the philosophical aspect of who is Brahman, who is what qualities of God has, that is all written in Upanishad. So Upanishad is the most philosophical aspect of it. Entire essence Veda, if you want to classify them, majorly you can classify into three: how to conduct your life in forest, how to conduct a life in your city life, or the Upanishad. So he wrote everything. Vyasadeva compiled everything, but he was not happy because so difficult to understand. Remember, as I mentioned, Bhagavatam has the entire, I don't know Vedas, how many 1 billion or 2 billion, 3 billion verses are there. I don't know how many. It's very difficult to condense and understand. Number two, it is written very old Sanskrit. You will not be able to do. Then what he did, he wrote Vedangas. So what is this Vedangas? So as I mentioned, the Shruti part of is Veda. Anything Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishad, consider as a Shruti. Now let us see the Smriti. What is Smriti? In order to understand this Rigiju, Sam, Atharvana Veda, people know understand basic grammar of Sanskrit. Siksha, Vyakarana is Sanskrit. Siksha is more of phonetics, how to pronounce particular word. Nirupti, Chandas means meter. Now we recited the poem in meter, right? There are different meters for different Sanskrit shlokas to do. So it's basically teach people about how to read the Vedas. And also they written a lot of agamas based on the energy of the Lord. Somebody worships Shakti, somebody worships Surya, somebody worships Ganapatyas, somebody worships Shiva, somebody worships Vishnu. Based on that, the Vedas, they carved out particular Upasana Kanda, they call it as. So for those people exclusively it was done. Then he was not happy. After that, Vyasadeva wrote this Puranas, 18 Puranas he wrote. After that also, he was not happy. Then he wrote Puranas. Then he wrote Mahabharata as well. He wrote Idigasas. So still, he was not happy. So we will come to that. Now what happens is then he saw, okay, the people are not able to understand Vedas. I've given Vedangas, grammar. If a person has to read Vedas, the Gurukul, what happens is they used to study for 15 years. Unless you become Pandita in Sanskrit, 15 years, understand grammar, then you will be able to understand Vedas. And again, it is in billions. The verses are in billions. This lifetime is not enough. So he thought, okay, what should I do? Then he was thinking, okay, let me write Vedanta Sutra. What is Vedanta Sutra? Out of this Veda Shruti, out of this, the most important part is Upanishad. The Upanishad contains the essence of the entire philosophy of the Vedas. So he thought, let me write a Vedanta Sutra, a small form of Vedanta Sutra. Adato Brahma Jignasha. This is one of the Vedanta Sutra. Means one should inquire about the life. So Anandamaya Bashat means one who is the Supreme Lord is always eternal and blissful. So these are the sutras. He started writing about 500, 600 sutras. He condensed everything into the Vedanta Sutras. Now we thought, okay, people will understand Vedanta Sutra. Still, he was not happy. Then what can be done? Then what can be done? Then there are a lot of philosophers who came. Saddarshan will call it as Patanjali. There are different rishis who started giving different philosophy. Nyaya, Vaiseshika, Sankhya philosophy. Patanjali gave yoga philosophy, Purma Mimamsa, Uttra Mimamsa. So again, Vyasadeva wrote the highest philosophy of Uttra Mimamsa. So then that has become the final Vedanta Sutra. Based on the Vedanta Sutra, he written Uttra Mimamsa. That becomes the Saddharmas. That becomes the basic of the entire followers of Sanatana Dharma. So that because Veda was very difficult to understand and most of them were lost also. So they all finally said Vedanta Sutra is ultimate. Any Sampradaya we want to recognize, they should write commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. Anybody writes commentary on Vedanta Sutra, they will be accepted. That's why you see so many Sampradayas, Ramanuja Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, Nimbarka Sampradaya, Brahma Sampradaya. Everybody read their own bhashyas. They have written their own commentaries. When Mahaprabhu was there, people were asking why Madhva Gaudiya, especially Gaudiya Sampradaya, why there was no commentary written on Vedanta Sutra? Because they are telling Bhagavatam is sufficient. There is no need for any other commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. But the problem is that the Puranas, including the 18 Puranas and Srimad Bhagavatam, comes under the category of Smriti. Anybody want to establish anything, they need to establish based on the Shruti, which is Vedas or Upanishad. Anything written on the Vedas, based on that you write a commentary, which is like Vedanta Sutra you wrote, or based on either Vedanta Sutra or Vedas, somebody writes a commentary, then that is accepted as a bona fide. Even though Srimad Bhagavatam covers the entire thing, but they said, no, we don't accept Gaudiya Sampradaya. That's why Govinda Bhashya on the request, Govinda Bhashya was written on the commentary. And if you see the Jiva Goswami's work, he wants to establish Srimad Bhagavatam as a supreme based on the Vedas. Most of the time, we argue, Vaishnavas argue based on Srimad Bhagavatam. We quote several shlokas. But most of the Vedantis, they said, Srimad Bhagavatam is a Smriti. I want something from Shruti. Can you prove that Krishna is the supreme? How do you prove that? So that's why Jiva Goswami Saddarbhas, he has written exhaustive work on the researching all these Vedas, Vedangas, Agamas. He referred from so many things. He was a scholarly person. And he wrote, finally established Bhagavatam is the supreme, right? So why I'm telling is, this is the importance of that verse. When Sanatana Goswami writes, they understand what is all this different aspect of Vedas. Then finally, Srimad Bhagavatam came. Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. As I mentioned, there are Vedanta Sutra, and for the Vedanta Sutra, Srimad Bhagavatam was the natural commentary on that. Now, I just come to this slide, then we will dwell for 5 minutes, then we'll go to the next topic. So we can see that Puranas are also considered as a fifth Veda. When Krishna spoke Vedas, he not only spoke Vedas. Actually, there is evidence in scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam 7.2.27, as well as Bhagavatam 12.7.23.24. It has been established that Veda, the Puranas, also part of the fifth Veda. Rik, Yajur, Sam, Atharvana Veda. Also, the Puranas and Adigasas form the fifth Veda. Puranas means not old. Sometimes we'll say Purana. Puranas is history. And it is old. It is not the meaning of that Purana is that it is a complete in its form. And we know that there are 18 Puranas. Vishnu Purana, Narada Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam, Garuda Purana, Padma Purana comes under this Sattva category. Then Rajo category of is Brahmanda Purana, Brahma Vaivarta Purana, Markandeya Purana, Bhavishya Purana, Vamana Purana, and Brahma Purana. Then we have Tamo category, Matsya, Kurma, Linga, Shiva, Skanda, Agni. These are the 18 Puranas which Vyasadeva wrote. So first he wrote Vedas, Aranyakas, Upanishads, everything he wrote. He was not happy. Then he wrote Smriti part of it. He compiled all the Vedangas, Agamas. Then the Saddandarbha came. Then he wrote Vedanta Sutra based on the Vedanta Sutra. Then the commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam he wrote. After he was not happy, finally Narada came and instructed, you're not talking about the Lord's glories directly. That's the reason you need to write Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, another reason why we should not read Vedas is that only 6% of Vedas is remaining. There is complete thing is not available. And that too, that's in billions. I don't know how many billions of verses available. Second is very, very difficult. You spend 20 years of your Sanskrit grammar, then you will be able to understand something, right? And also those days it is not taught to everyone, Brahmana, only to the Brahmana community, that to male only they were reading this Vedas. So it was very difficult to assimilate. So Vyasadeva thought, Vedanta Sutra also very difficult. People won't be understand. Let me write Puranas. Let me write Idigasas, Ramayana, Mahabharata like that. Then people will be able to understand. Because 90% originally available, it's written in simple language, irrespective of women, men, is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, everybody can read. People have poor memory, it's easy to understand in the story form. He gave the entire essence as a Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's why we read this Srimad Bhagavatam. And also more glories about Srimad Bhagavatam. It is the essence of the Gayatri Mantra. The entire thing we always talk about the Gayatri Mantra. The first shloka talks about Satyam Parantimahi, right? So he talks about the Gayatri. It starts with Gayatri, the Bhagavatam ends with Gayatri. So it is the essence of explanation of Gayatri. And it's, again, as I mentioned, Vedanta Sutras. It's a natural commentary. Srimad Bhagavatam is the commentary on Vedanta Sutra. So now a little quiz for all of you to be more active. So we know that Srimad Bhagavatam is Amala Purana. So basically, the order is sequence is that Vedas written, then the Puranas was written. Puranas after Idigasas written, he wrote Vedanta Sutra. Now the question is that when Vyasadeva wrote this Srimad Bhagavatam, right? After that he was not happy. After Vedanta Sutra, he was not happy. Then Narada Rishi came. He said, "You're not glorified properly. You write Srimad Bhagavatam." Now the question is that when Vyasadeva compiled this 18, the Puranas, did he compile only 17 or did he compile 18? Or after Narada Rishi talking, did he compile Bhagavatam? Which one is true? I don't know, you're getting my question or not. He wrote the Bhagavatam, right? He wrote Puranas. After writing the Puranas, then he wrote Vedanta Sutra. Then he was not happy. Then Narada Rishi came. He said, "You write about glorification of the Lord." Then he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam. Now my question is that when the Puranas, he wrote other Puranas, did he write 17 or 18 of them? Anybody want to try? Why? Okay. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Anybody else? Any other view? All 18. Okay, but what is that he written after after talking to Narada Rishi then? Okay. Okay. So if you see that other scriptures, right? Let it be Vishnu Purana, especially Bhatma Purana. I'll show you a quote. This is from Garuda Purana. Garuda Purana talks about Srimad Bhagavatam. See, the other Puranas glorify already Srimad Bhagavatam. If already is not written 18 volumes, the other scripture may not be able to glorify books which is already is not yet written. If you're not yet written, the other Puranas cannot glorify. Now, 18 Puranas he wrote, but not in the form where we can understand. It is not on the commentary on Vedanta Sutra. I said there is a Vedanta Sutra. So when he first time he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam, including Srimad Bhagavatam, other 18 Puranas, naturally every Puranas was glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam was the prominent, but it was not on the natural commentary of on the Vedanta Sutras. Then he wrote Puranas, he wrote Vedanta Sutra. Then he realized, Narada Rishi told, "What you have written Bhagavatam, that needs to be enhanced. That doesn't talk about Vedanta Sutra. It needs to be commentary on Vedanta Sutra and directly on the Lordships." Then he rewrites, recompiles this Srimad Bhagavatam again and gives us the Amala Puran. So we can see from this understanding that Srimad Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit, maturity of that Vyasadeva wrote. Now the next question is that when Vyasadeva wrote this, definitely Bhagavatam was much written before Sukadeva Goswami was speaking. Today when we start Bhagavatam, we open it, it starts with Naimisharanya, where Saunaka, the rishis, they're all discussing Srimad Bhagavatam. Now the question is, if Bhagavatam is written much before Sukadeva Goswami was speaking, then why should those verses are included here? Sorry, a little louder. Shruti can change. So are we reading? Are you saying that we are reading a Bhagavatam, which is edited by somebody else, not Vyasadeva edition? This is a different edition of Bhagavatam. Prabhupada did a commentary on the not Vyasadeva Bhagavatam or different commentary on different Bhagavatam. Hmm. If you see this commentary of this Garuda Purana, now it says elsewhere also in Garuda Purana, this Bhagavatam is 18,000 verses. Now the current tradition what we have is 18,000, that including the conversation of Saunaka Rishis. Now these Puranas were written somewhere first time. After that Narada spoke, he enhanced Bhagavatam. Now how can a Garuda Purana, which knows about the future what he is going to write, and it explains about this Bhagavatam, it is commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, it has 18,000 verses like that. And it is again, Vyasadeva, one is a literary incarnation. There are two answers to it. One is literary incarnation. He is born for this. He knows all this Shastras. It's not that Bhagavatam is writing first time. It is ever existing, like Krishna says, Bhagavad Gita, I've been speaking to Arjuna, this Bhagavatam exists all the time. So he just plays the role of a person saying that I'm into illusion, then he writes all these things. But otherwise, he knows. That is one answer. Second answer is he revised other Puranas also to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam. He recompiled again. There's chances that you would have recompiled again this Bhagavatam to include and also other Puranas so that we can understand as a complete. So, so this is the first stanza. What we so far saw from the shloka is that Sarva Sastra Bhi Piyusha, Sarva Vedika, Sarva Phala. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is the just essence which you can just drink it. You don't need to even bite it. You just drink it. Very easy to swallow in the fruit form, very sweet, condensed form. He is given. So the next shloka talks about okay, how much time we have? Up to 9:45. Okay, I will now we have glorified book Bhagavata. I would like to glorify now Srila Prabhupada book Bhagavata. One time Srila Prabhupada, this is with respect to shloka, I was reading 1.1.4 Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, text number 4. It talks about the sages, Naimisharanya, they are all assembled. They are about to ask the question, and their Prabhupada's writing 3 shlokas detailing about what is the qualification of a Bhagavatam speaker. He was glorifying it. So there is one reason Prabhupada gives is that these sages, they want to do good to the people. Kali Yuga people are Manda Sumandayo. I want to do something best for them. So the Vaishnavas are more compassionate. So in this regard, I just want to compare a nice story for Srila Prabhupada. So we all know this Mysore. After Mysore, there is a place called Himma Bet. Gopala, Himma Gopala Swami. How many of you been there? Okay. So that place is also known for Agastya Rishi. He lived there and he meditated in that cave. And also there is a pond. The pond where that time used to be crows, lot of crows. As soon as they take a dip in the pond, it's called Agastya Kund, they all become swan. They all become very beautiful swans. And his glory is that, Agastya glory is that there was a mountain called Vindhya mountain that is between South India and North India. It was growing bigger. It wants to grow bigger than the Himalayas. So it's grown so much that there is a literally partition between South and North. So Agastya thought if it grows, like for example, now we have Himalayas. After the Himalayas, Chinese are there. They speak different language, different culture. What if this Bharat also get divided into two and different culture, different communication, everything comes? He smashed the entire Vindhya mountain. He made it flat. That's why there is no difference. That is first achievement he did. Second achievement, what he did is when Parshuram came, he killed all the Kshatriyas. When Kshatriya is not there, they don't protect Brahmanas. There is no Brahman community. Everybody is Sutra. He want to re-establish this Varnashrama Dharma. So what he did, he preached to the Brahmanas. He made few Brahmanas, Kshatriyas. Now the third, what is one of his leelas is that there are 2 brothers, demonic brothers there, Vatapi and Ilvala. So these 2 people are very notorious people. So the elder brother Vatapi, he will convert his brother into a goat and he will cook a meat and offer to all the Brahmanas as a Shraddha. They should eat. They also knew that it is a meat, but those days it's allowed, not in Kali Yuga. So after eating, what happens is this Vatapi will call his brother, come out. This brother, Eluvala, he will come open the stomach of the Brahmanas who ate the food and he will come out. That's how they kill. So one time Agastya came, Agastya knew it. So Vatapi said, Agastya Rishi, we are happy, please have meal. So it was his brother who he cut in to pieces, then he made a feast for him. Then everything was done. Agastya was happy. Then Vatapi called his brother, "Oh, brother, please come out." And he said, Jirna Bhava. Agastya said, Vatapi or Iluvala Jirna Bhava. It means he digested. He can digest anybody. So this we can compare to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada is none lesser than the Agastya. In fact, we can say that he is one more step more than Agastya Rishi. The first thing was what he did. He leveled the mountain so that everybody can live peacefully. Srila Prabhupada, he leveled the entire mountain of the world, entire universe. There is no caste creed difference between American, Russian, Chinese. No, there is nothing. The biggest mountain is the ego, saying that I am such a person, identifying with this body. I'm a such a person. If you go to America, they will not allow the third countries to come. There will be a lot of questions. Why have come here? The visa's problem, right? You don't get to see them. But Prabhupada smashed the entire boundaries of the entire world. He created a house where the entire people can live. Prabhupada always tell this is a real united nation. Which country now we might have a war between Russia and Ukraine, but obviously the devotees of Ukraine will pray to Russia. Russia devotees will pray to the Ukraine devotees. That's the only bonding for them. Krishna is the only bonding. There is no caste, creed, and my nation, things like that. Prabhupada has done so much that the entire, you can see the gem of the entire world, right? Entire people can live. But sometimes we take it for granted. For example, we are coming to the temple. We take it granted there will be a nice feast. Prabhu, aaj bhi khichdi hai, kuch something you don't do it. You take a lot of liberty to ask the devotees, and you feel home at home. Imagine you are going to your in-laws place or somebody's relative place. Do you think you will behave same way after 2-3 days? We never ask them. We never demand them. After 3-4 days, we know what kind of treatment they'll do. We go for 3 days and come back. But ISKCON is we come every week, take it for granted. Prabhu, today will be amazing feast, right? Today will be amazing katha. There will be some amazing festival. We take it for granted. The house built by Srila Prabhupada. We don't take value out of it. We feel home. We feel part of the community. But if you go to however close your relative is, you stay for 1 month and let me know what is the feedback. So Prabhupada removed the barricade. You respect your what language you speak. You come from which part of the country, doesn't matter. But when they come, we do Guru Arti, Puja, take darshan of the deities. How many of you felt home? How many of you never felt that it's not the out of space here? ISKCON, none, right? But if you go to your even close relative, you will feel out of space after some time. So that's the beauty of ISKCON Srila Prabhupada has created. It's not something greater than Agastya, what just a mere stone in making a powder. He smashed the entire ego of the entire universe and made Krishna consciousness. The second one, what he did do? Second one, he created Varnashrama system. He created the Kshatriyas and Brahmanas. What did Srila Prabhupada do? He created not Varnashrama Dharma, he created the Vaishnavas on top of it. Just not a Brahmana Kshatriya. He created a Vaishnava, such a gem. You see Srila Prabhupada disciple, how much enthusiastically they're doing seva, how they propagating the holy name. We are all fortunate to have their association. They are just like, miracle. Srila Prabhupada miracle is that, just not normal Kshatriya or Vaishya, normal Brahmana. He created Vaishnavas. Amazing acharyas they created, right? We're all inspired by them. We are taking shelter of under the lotus feet. Prabhupada created such a gems. Nobody can create it. What was the third Agastya did? The digestion of Iluvala. So Prabhupada, there are so many demonic people. They refer these two brothers are like you want to correlate to what in the current scenario is. These are the people who are scientists, atheists, or the politicians who systematically want to kill the entire Sanatana Dharma. The first thing is they want to burn. The Britishers came, they burnt all the Shastras. They said, work is worship, your factory is temple. Propagating the different. They want to kill the culture, right? They want to digest all the good things. And they were establishing their own. Prabhupada came. He is the only person who calls the scientists as the fools and rascals. At that time, they were sending, people were landing on the moon. Prabhupada was so boldly, clearly was articulating what is wrong, what is right. So Srila Prabhupada alone can kill these demonic people. And he said, another 10,000 years, nobody can enter. There's nobody can come and argue with Srila Prabhupada or philosophy for next 10,000 years. Whoever Vadapi or whoever Ilavala is there, nothing can be done. He made a solid, rock solid philosophy he gave. Another 10,000, nobody can shake. There's anybody who can challenge. No, Prabhupada is given such a comfortable life, such a philosophy, such a house. What is that we need to do? Just that we need to distribute these books, holy Grantham, Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, to such a fallen conditioned souls. Otherwise, we are like, it is not only meat eating is not only killing people. You have Bhagavatam, you have valuable thing. You're not giving for the suffering people. It is also considered as, you are committing violence against other living entity. It's not just physically doing it. You have something valuable. There are so many philosophers in this world. They have just a glass pieces. You see outside, they say, oh, this is what they talk about, so much thing. We have such a gem, and we don't realize. We keep quiet, right? We should not be. We should boldly preach, because Prabhupada just set the face for it. Now, what was the fourth one? I was talking about, there is a kunda is there. In the kunda, what happened? The crow, uh, right? When it takes a dip, it becomes a swan. Prabhupada also created kunda. One kunda for entire world. Any crow comes here, it will become a swan. Do you know what it is? It's none other than Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada said, anybody has Bhagavatam, they must become pure devotee. There is no other chance. Prabhupada's commitment. So when you read daily Srimad Bhagavatam, you will transform. It's a place for the crows, the pilgrimage, Vayasatirtha. Prabhupada explains that you will become a pure Vaishnava. So what the sages, they want to do good to things. Srila Prabhupada has done it. So he's a pure Vaishnava. So he's also Srimad Bhagavatam. What Bhagavatam is transformed, same thing Srila Prabhupada also transformed. So when you either follow person Bhagavatam or Srimad Bhagavatam, book Bhagavata, the effect is same. That's why I'm trying to narrate this pastime of Srila Prabhupada. Why it is important to serve Srila Prabhupada mission, why it is important to serve Srimad Bhagavatam. So I would stop here. I'm not able to go through all the verses of the Sanatana Goswami. It's nectarian. These 4 verses you can release later. But what are discussed so far, if you have any corrections, I'm happy to take the corrections. Yeah. Hare Krishna, are there any comments, questions? Yeah. Zoom is on. Yeah. Zoom is on. Bhagavatam, it's not the commentary on all the 18 Puranas. It is the natural commentary. There is a systematic commentary. There is a natural commentary. What is natural commentary is that uh, so if you take a book, like there are a lot of acharyas take a book and they write verse by verse commentary. He has written Vedanta Sutra, but Bhagavatam is not word by word, every taking one sloka, okay, this is the commentary. It is not in sequence. It is a natural commentary, means whatever essence is there of the Vedanta Sutra, it is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, this Srimad Bhagavatam is the compilation of all the Puranas. It has the entire essence of other Puranas. If you don't need to read other Puranas, if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, but it does not mean that word by word, what is there in the Puranas, everything given in Srimad Bhagavatam, but the essence is given already. So you should, yes, you don't need to read other Puranas. Srimad Bhagavatam contains all other Puranas because other Puranas glorify. This is the Mahaprana. If you read all the Vedas, all the Puranas, they glorify Srimad Bhagavatam because that has the essence of everything. So you don't need to worry. You can read Srimad Bhagavatam. Other Puranas essence is already included in the Vedas. Like for example, we say Gita. Gita, everything is there, and also which is not there also in Gita. When Krishna says, how can in 700 slokas, 18 chapters, everything can be there, all the Vedas? That's essence, everything is given. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam as the entire Purana. You name anything under the Vedas, you name anything under Vedanta Sutra, you name anything under Puranas, you name anything under Ridikasas, it is all there in one single form, Srimad Bhagavatam. 18,000 verses, more than sufficient to go back to Godhead. So also this slide, what are you seeing, right? This is the classification. Somebody says, still, Prabhu, I want to read something from the Vedas. Prabhupada said, don't worry, you read Ishopanishad. Because I said Upanishad comes under the Shruti category. So Prabhupada is trying to translate Shri Ishopanishad. So somebody says, still, I want Prabhu Vedas, go and read Shri Ishopanishad. Somebody says, I want to read some Smriti. Both Bhagavad Gita is both Shruti and Smriti because Krishna has spoke. That's why it's Shruti. It comes under the Bhagavatam, sorry, Mahabharat, it is Smriti. So go and read Bhagavatam. Somebody, I want to read Vedanta Sutra, Prabhu, go and read Srimad Bhagavatam. So you can't go outside Prabhupada boundary, right? Prabhupada has given everything. He has given everything. You can't say something extra outside this book. There is nothing required. And Nectar of Devotion is another book. If you read these four, there is nothing beyond anything you have to do in your life. Just read these four books.
Hare Krishna. In Zoom, there is a question by Sachitane Gaur Prabhu. I read from the purports in CC that Mayavadis do not accept Smriti in the Prasthanatraya, whereas they accept Nyaya and Shruti. What does this mean, Prabhu?
Yes. So as I mentioned, the Vedas is the base. That's why the Mayavadis don't accept Srimad Bhagavatam. They always say Bhagavatam is part of the Puranas. That is, comes under Shruti. So here you can see that they will accept anything on Veda, Upanishad. And this Vedanta Sutra also, it's part of the Vedas because based on the Upanishad, Vyasadeva wrote this Vedanta Sutra. That is also Veda, part of the Vedas. That's why anything you want to prove, anything established, either you quote from Vedanta Sutra or from the Vedas, they accept it. If you quote from Puranas, other thing, it's a Smriti, they don't want to accept it. That's why every bona fide Sampradaya, but our Acharyas know that Bhagavatam is the ultimate. They always quote everything from Bhagavatam. So they want, Mayavadis don't accept it. That's why Jiva Goswami also thought about it. Okay, in future, what happens is ISKCON comes. He wrote this 6 Tattva Sandarbhas. My God, mind blowing. He just pick it up from Vedas. Everything he studied from Vedas, he just is expert, very scholarly. It is not for the devotees. Please don't think that you can go and read this 6 Sandarbha and you'll get out of it. You will quote some quotation from one of the Vedas. You should know already this Vedas is quoting this verse. He will start the quote, end the quote. You should know what he is quoting. So it's very difficult. Only scholars, they will understand. So he also established Srimad Bhagavatam as the supreme. In the Vedas also it is established like that. And Ramanuj is also trying to do that. He also did, there was one Bodhini or something that it was available in Kashmir. And Ramanujacharya also commentary something he picked up from the Vedas to prove that Bhagavatam is the essence like that. So in essence, anybody, the Tattvavadis, they accept either from Vedas or the Vedanta Sutras. Any commentaries written, that is considered as a basis. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also in Gaudiya Sampradaya also, later Govinda Bhashya was written based on the Vedas and Vedanta Sutras. We also have a commentary. If somebody asks, ask them to go and read Govinda Bhashya. That is our commentary. And everybody will have their own Siddhanta. Our philosophy is Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. So that's our Tattva. If you go on Suddha Tattva, somebody will say Suddha Tattva, Advaita, Vishuddha Tattva. So there are different philosophies, different schools are there. Our school is also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's thing based on Vedanta Sutra is Govinda Bhashya. But you don't need to get into this detail. Srimad Bhagavatam is sufficient for everything. Any other comments, Prabhu? I hope it answered.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, the Samhita means Brahma Samhita also comes under that in the Shruti part. That?
So technically the mantra, see, even though it is Samhita, Brahmana, it's all interrelated. Small Sanskrit words is a shloka. Combined shloka is shloka. After the shloka, it's like Sukta. We say Purusha Sukta, right? Sukta. The combination of Sukta is Samhita, hierarchy. So everything will be in the verses here. All will be Sanskrit shlokas. Even Samhita Brahmanas will not be in the story form. Everything is shloka. So every shloka, something used for doing homa yagya, that meter will be different. That mantra will be different. Something you want to worship the Lord, pray to the Lord, that will be different mantras. Everything is finally bottom is mantras. You can take a cluster of group it together as the Purusha Sukta. Then Shuktas combined together, it comes to Brahma Samhita. So yes, it's part of that. So mainly Samhitas used for worshipping, praying. So that's why it's given a prominent here. But yes, it's all part of interrelated. You can't differentiate when you take one part of it. Oh, this is Samhita. Oh, this is Brahmana. This is Aranya. Everything will be mixed in Vedas. Every one line will talk about Upanishad. The next mantra will talk about Aranyaka. So you need to grasp, sort it out in order to understand Vedas. It's very difficult. It is not in sequence, not in the chapter 1, chapter 2. No, it's all one slokas keep on coming meters. So that's why it's very difficult.
That comes under Shruti, no? So the
Shruti.
Mayavadis, will they accept Brahma Samhita and
Yeah, it's based on Shruti. They have to accept anything based on Shruti, they have to accept. But one should write a commentary and also you have to specify a tattva. See, the basic problem is they are stuck to the tattva. I'll show you that slide where now there is a Bhashya is written, right? Advaita. Oh, okay. Shankara told Advaita, there is only one. My philosophy is only one. Atma, Jivatma, Paramatma, all one. So Nimbarka said Dvaita. They said, no, there is a two. Atma is separate, Paramatma is different. Then Vishnu Swami came, he said Suddvaita Advaita. Then Ramanuja came, Vishishta Advaita. Everybody needs to tell their philosophy, number one. Then they have to tell what is the commentary to prove that philosophy, what is the commentary I've written on Vedanta Sutra. Then it is bona fide Sampradaya. Otherwise, they don't accept it. That's why they were creating a lot of issues for Gaudiya Sampradaya. He's saying you're always talking about Smriti, Bhagavatam, that's part of that Smriti. We don't want to accept it. You write commentary on Vedanta Sutra. So that's why Vidya Bhushan so wrote the Govinda Bhashya. Yeah. But you should have a philosophy. They will then, based on the commentary, they'll accept it. You're just not quoting it, but they Shruti, anything based on Shruti, they will accept it.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for explaining the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam reading. Just want to understand, because it's very vast and 12 cantos and 18,000 verses. For a common man like me, like how much time one should minimum read Bhagavatam every day? Because you said reading Bhagavatam has many benefits, like including for Pitru, Devatas and everyone. So plus it's one question is how much time one should spend reading Bhagavatam. The second question is because it's very vast and it refers to many like connects to different sections. So is there any specific order like one should read, like or read from first verse to last verse, or is there any specific order?
First question to answer is don't get shocked. You need to read Bhagavata 24/7. I'm not telling, you see, that's how the glorification and that's how it is. Prabhu, whether it is practical or not, you need to come to that stage. You may not be at this stage. Set a goal which is achievable. I know I can read only 5 pages in a day. Set that goal and increase it later as you progress. But ultimately, all the Vaishnavas who are at the pure stage, if you see, they are Nityam Bhagavata 24/7. It is so much ecstatic. Once Brahma has heard this Bhagavatam, he become a mad and he go to Sukadeva Goswami. When Sukadeva Goswami was coming to the place where Parishit Maharaj was there, he was completely drunken. He's not drunken means he's had alcohol. So maddened about glories of the Lord, he was walking like this and he's barely able to see. He was always in the bliss of Krishna consciousness. That's only possible if you read 24/7 Srimad Bhagavatam. And without hunger, Parshit Maharaj shared it. So that is the standard set by the Acharyas. Can we follow it? I'm a Grahastha. Set a standard, but Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, but I will do 1 page means 1 page, not less. 6 pages means 6. Sometime extremely you miss it, next time you will make it. Let's say, Prabhu, I will read chapter a day. Some people have capability, then let's them do it. They would have done it for a long time, then they would have moved to chapter a day. They can do chapter a day. There are still devotees who do chapter a day. I know there are Vaishnavas who read Ekadasi to Ekadasi entire Bhagavatam. I'm not exaggerating. I'm telling the truth. There are devotees, Vanaprasada devotees, they read from Ekadasi to Ekadasi entire Bhagavatam in a month twice. Okay? So you choose what standard you are in and follow that, which you can follow. The second aspect of it, should we read from where to start? There's a wonderful shloka talks about. I didn't show the slide. Bhagavatam is Sakshat Krishna. The 2 legs represent the first 2 chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam. The thighs represent 3rd and 4th chapter. The navel, Navi, is the 5th chapter. Chest is the 6th chapter. The 2 shoulders are 7th and 8th. Neck is the 9th. Mukaravinda, Krishna book we read, the sweet pastime of Krishna Leela is the 10th. This is 11th, forehead. 12th is the head. Now it's very important. Some unscrupulous people go and read directly Krishna Leela, especially Rasa Leela. They will not understand unless you understand from the beginning what is the creation, how it was done, who is behind, what are the energies behind it. Then you will be able to relate. If you directly jump, that's one thing. But let's say you're already studied. First thing is you go sequentially, understand what is the translation. It is different from study, is different from reading. First time you can read it sequentially. Next time you don't need to read it sequentially. It depends on that some topic you want to understand. Then you can go into more deep into particular study of the topic, particular canto. But you should have read at least once in sequence so that you know at least I know what is Pona, what is recreation, creation, what kind of energy, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how he is maintaining, how Krishna is the entire thing is managed by him. That concept understanding you will have. After that, you want to dwell more into different cantos, then you can pick up different cantos and study. But it is recommended to go from, when you take Ditish Darshan, you take from the foot to the top. So if you're already studied, then it's okay to jumble. But initially, for those who study first time, it needs to be in sequence. We'll stop here. Grandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande.
Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai ki Jai. So let us all. So I was delayed to come to the class, but the quality of the questions and the quality of the answers definitely led me to the point that it was definitely a wonderful class and nicely assimilated by the devotees also. Let us all thank and express our gratitude to Prabhuji by loudly chanting once Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. There are a few announcements, and I would request your kind attention. Now, when we all come to Bhagavatam classes, we all come to the festivals, we all come to other programs that we have when there is visitors. So we all come together as a family, and obviously there are kids also. Now, from a temple perspective, this is a measure. This is a kind request to all the devotees and especially to the families who have kids that let us not allow our children to enter the kitchen area because there is a lot of things happening in the kitchen area. So it's a kind request to all those parents that do not allow your children below 18 years, and just as a measure, because it's below 18 years to enter the kitchen area as it is not safe for them. It was observed that children do come in the cooking areas, and you all have observed during the festivals, the Lord Janmashtami also, there are big vessels and so many gases and fire is always there and so many other things happening. So please ensure, devotees also will ensure who are cooking over there, but it is a prime responsibility and it's a humble request from the management to the parents, Prabhus and Matajis, to ensure that the kids do not enter the kitchen area. I would request Prabhuji to translate.
Hare Krishna. So, ಈ ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದವರ ಎಲ್ಲರ ರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಮಾಡು, ಸೇಫ್ಟಿ ಇಸ್ ಅವರ್ ಪ್ರಿಕಾಷನ್, ನಮ್ಮ ಇದು ಉತ್ತಮವಾದಂತ ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಆಸೆ ಒಂದು ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಆಗಿ ಕುಟುಂಬದಾಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲರ ರಕ್ಷಣೆ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳದ್ದು. ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಕಿಚನ್ ಕಡೆ ಓಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವುದು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಅಡಿಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವಾಗ ಬಾಯ್ಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಆಚೆ ಈಚೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಆಗ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ಇದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿಯವರು ಕಿಚನ್ ನ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗದಾಗೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ವಿನಂತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೇವೆ.
The second announcement, again, do not misunderstand this decision what the management is taking. It is just to put in some discipline to devotees who come to the temple. So it is a humble request that please collect prasadam coupons before 9:30 a.m. We will see Jagannath Prabhu will be sitting over there, and as soon as you enter the temple, please collect your prasadam coupons before 9:30 a.m. Now, the reason, the intention behind having this is not to restrict devotees from having prasadam, but rather to give an exact count, at least near to exact count, a realistic count to the kitchen department. It becomes very important because prasadam we know that is none other than Krishna himself. So to waste prasadam, it's definitely enough. So again, humble request to ensure you take your coupons while you enter, before you enter the hall, but before 9:30 a.m. at least. So that the kitchen team can get the right, at least the near realistic count, so that the prasadam can be made accordingly.
ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ. ಸೊ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿದಂತ ಪ್ರಸಾದ ಹಾಳಾಗಬಾರದು. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ದಯಮಯಪರು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನಮಗೂ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಥವಾ ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಒಂದು ಅಪ್ರಾಕ್ಸಿಮೇಟ್ ಕೌಂಟ್ ಸಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಕೂಪನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದೇ ಪ್ರಭು ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪಾರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಮಾತ್ರ, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಪ್ರಸಾದ ಸಿಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಯಾರು ಪ್ರಸಾದ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಹೋಗಬಾರ್ದು, ಅದು ಉದ್ದೇಶ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಪನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. 9:30ವರೆಗೆ ಕೂಪನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಆನಂತರ ಬಂದವರಿಗೂ ಕೂಪನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಪ್ರಸಾದ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಖಂಡಿತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿತ್ಯ ಪ್ರಭು ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಕೂಪನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು.
So I missed that point that Prabhu announced. Those who do not have coupons, again the intention is that we want to serve prasadam to everyone, but those do not have coupons, kindly reach out to His Grace Pramanita Prabhu and collect your coupons. We had this wonderful Bhadra Purnima. Would you all like to hear the scores that was achieved? Haribol. So I will read in sequence. Gaurachandra Gopinath Prabhu, Srimad Bhagavatam sets 43 and Chaitanya Charitamrita sets 2. So we'd have, let us all give a loud Haribol to Prabhuji. Haribol. So Prabhuji walks the talk. There are other achievements by wonderful devotees here. I'll read out the names and the count as well, and we can have a big Hare Krishna Mahamantra at the end. Ashok Gaur Prabhu 6, Rama Govind Ratish Prabhu 6, Sachinanda Prabhu 3, Vibhav Prabhu 2, Sundarup Sham Prabhu 2. The Haribol is dying down as the count. Murli Murari Prabhu 1, Ishwar Hari Prabhu 1, Jagannath Prabhu 1, Senthil Prabhu 1, Dayamay Baldev Prabhu 1, from IYF team Basavaraj Prabhu 1, from IYF Yashwant Prabhu 1, Suvarna Gaurari Prabhu 1, and Janani Mataji 1. So let us all chant once Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So along with the Prasadam request that was made, there is one other important request. Those who all are getting their vehicles, especially the cars, our neighbor has come and warned that if today itself, if somebody parks their car near their gate, he will ensure that it is punctured. So just to avoid getting into a punctured situation or getting into a verbal situation, please ensure you can park on the wall besides the temple. There is another space which is on that side also. So please ensure you park your cars. I know it's a little walk from that side, but let's park on that side. And just to avoid this, because we all know Narari Prabhu is saying that we need the residents, the neighbors also coming to the temple. So let us have a healthy relationship with them. Janmashtami gifts, those who have not collected, please reach out to Rukmini Rangakrishna Prabhu or Sudha Mataji and Aradhita Mataji, who will be there in the accounts department. And we have some announcements about the Yatra also.
Hare Krishna. So we are glad to inform all of you about our upcoming Yatras till the month of December. So for October, we will have Ahobilam, and as congregation, we'll all be going to Udupi Yatra. And in the month of November, we'll have Puri Mayapur Yatra and also Ahobilam. And in the month of December, we'll also have Dwaraka Yatra. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲರಲ್ಲೂ ಒಂದು ವಿಶೇಷ ಸೂಚನೆ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಅಕ್ಟೋಬರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕಾರ್ತಿಕ ಮಾಸ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ವೃಂದಾವನ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಅದು ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಉಡುಪಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಹೋಬಿಲಂ ಯಾತ್ರೆಗೆ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಈ ಯಾತ್ರೆಗಳು ಮಾರೋ ಕಾರಣ ಭಕ್ತರ ಸಂಘವನ್ನ ಅತ್ಯಂತವಾಗಿ ಪಡೆಯೋಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಒಂಟಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೋಗಿ ದೇವ್ರ ದರ್ಶನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರೋದ್ರ ಆನಂದ ನಾವು ಭಕ್ತರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದಾಗ ಅತ್ಯಂತವಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಭಕ್ತರೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಕಥಾಗಳು ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಸ್ಥಳ ಪುರಾಣ, ಕೀರ್ತನ ಮತ್ತು ಬಾಂಡೇಜ್ ವಿತ್ ಡಿವೋಟೀಸ್, ಅಲ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್ಲಿ ಅದೇ ಕಾರಣ. ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಟೆಂಪಲ್ಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಬರೀ ಸಂಡೇ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ಅವರೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ಕೋಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಬಟ್ ಯಾತ್ರಾ ಅಂದಾಗ ದ ಹೋಲ್ ಟೈಮ್ ವಿ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಡಿವೋಟೀಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡ್ಸ್, ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಕೀರ್ತನೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಪ್ರಸಾದ ತಗೊಳಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ಈ ಯಾತ್ರೆಗಳು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾನೇ ದಾರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವಿ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಡಿವೋಟೀಸ್ ಟು ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಟೇಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ಅನ್ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್. ಸೊ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಮಾರ್ಜಿನಲ್, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಅಫೋರ್ಡಬಲ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬರೋಕ್ಕೂ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅಕ್ಟೋಬರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಿತ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಡಿವೋಟೀಸ್ ಅಹೋಬಿಲಂ ಯಾತ್ರಾ ಮತ್ತು ಉಡುಪಿ ಯಾತ್ರಾ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ನವೆಂಬರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪೂರಿ ಮಾಯಾಪುರ್, ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಟು ಶ್ರೀ ಚೈತನ್ಯ ಮಹಾಪ್ರಭುಸ್ ಬರ್ತ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್. ಸೊ ಖಂಡಿತ ಇದನ್ನ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಆದ್ರೂ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು ಭಕ್ತರೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಡಿಸೆಂಬರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ್ವಾರಕಾ. ಸೊ ದ್ವಾರಕಾ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಸೋಮನಾಥ್. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನ ಕೂಡ ವೀಕ್ಷಿಸಿ ಭಕ್ತರ ಸಂಘದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವ ಹಾಗೆ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನೆಲ್ಲರಲ್ಲೂ ಬೇಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಮುಂದೆ ಬನ್ನಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ.
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji made a very wonderful point that it's a bondage that happened between devotees. So please take most benefit of it. And last announcement, we don't have any prasadam sponsors today. So anybody would like to make a sponsorship? Hare Krishna. So loud Hari Bol for Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhuji, you can connect with Pramanita. Prabhuji also is there. Prabhuji, I forget an initiated name. Ashwat. Ashokatma Vasudev Prabhu is also sponsoring the Prasadam today. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We also have Somashekar Prabhu who's raised his hand. There are two devotees all raising their hands also. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We'll have Jagannath Ashtakam. Prasadam is getting little delayed. We'll continue with Kirtan for some more time.
Jagannath Baldev Subhadra session ki jai. Thank you for joining in today's Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya class. We just end the session now. We just continue tomorrow morning at 8. Hare Krishna.